Southern California's album alternative. That's us, KSCA. I'm Merrilee Kelly. That over there, in, I don't know, maybe your left headphone, was Dave Edmonds, plugged in, here in the FM 101.9 Music Hall, along with Bobby Bandiera. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
You are Dave Edmonds, and maybe you're sitting at home going, Dave Edmonds rings a bell. You've had a lot of songs on the radio, with and without the band Rockpile.
That's right.
Let's see. Here's
a
just
checkered career, you could say.
Here's a couple that come to mind if we need to shake up the cobwebs. Here Comes the Weekend, Crawling from the Wreckage, Slipping Away, Me and the Boys, I Hear You Knockin', Trouble Boys.
Yeah.
Boy rock.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor. That's me.
So many songs that Rhino Records put out this 2 CD collection, like a 20-plus retrospective, 20-plus years.
Yes, that's right. 45 songs, 20 years. Actually, I did more songs than that in the 20s, but never mind. We ended up with, I think, 45 tracks on there, yeah.
I think it's interesting that the Rolling Stones are in town this week, too, and I don't know, I think you might have them beat on the Still Able to Rock 20-plus years later. What do you think?
Oh, I haven't seen them lately, so I don't know. But they seem to be, doing okay out there.
Well, the new album is Plugged In. You are at the House of Blues Friday night.
Yes.
And you're here now in the Music Hall, Dave Edmonds. Would you like to play for us?
Okay. Oh, you want us to play? All right. Let me see. It just so happens I have a guitar with me. So, there's one you mentioned that Here Comes the Weekend.
Monday no fun day, Tuesday's a blue day, Wednesday's a frenzy, Thursday's the worst day, Friday's great cause I can hardly wait until the weekend. I should be clocking in at 8 but I'm a little late, can't blame my baby cause I got her on date. It's 2 till 10 and then it's Friday again. Here come the weekend, here come the weekend, here comes the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. I've had an overdose of doctor's notes, but it just don't ease the pain. Going on the sick, don't do the trick, cause sooner or later I'll be clocking in again. Working like a dog more than 10 hours a day. Never had enough of my take-home pay. They pay me for my shift like they was given again. Here come the weekend. Whoa, solo. I've had an overdose of doctor's notes, but it just don't ease the pain. Going on the sick, don't do the trick. Sooner or later I'll be clocking in again. Someday I'll be able to forget my working day. Life will be grim because my ship is coming in. Everything will go my way and I won't have to say, here come the weekend. Here comes the weekend. Here comes the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Here comes the weekend. Here comes the weekend. Here comes the weekend. Whoa.
Oh.
Dave Edmonds in the FM 101.9 Music Hall, and Here Comes the Weekend. Who wrote that one?
Me and Nick Lowe.
Ah.
Yeah.
Was that during?
Back in the old days.
Was that during Rockpile or when
Yes.
you were doing separate things?
I was in Rockpile, which was sort of doing separate things as well. Yeah.
So Rockpile was initially Dave Edmonds' band.
Yeah, and then Nick put a record out, so then it was his band, and then when I put a record out, because we were on different labels, and it shouldn't have worked like that, but it did actually. It worked better than when we finally recorded together. It didn't seem to work as well. So
Rockpile is really an American-sounding sound, and you guys are English or Welsh in your case, I guess.
Oh, I grew up on American music, yeah.
There's this theory about the English that a lot of them are dying to be American and really love the American music and pop culture, but they would deny it in a second.
Oh, I wouldn't. I remember when I was growing up, the whole idea of America that we got from films and television was something that very, what's the word? Attractive. Something that, it seemed that's the way to do it, whereas it seemed like black and white when I was growing up in Wales. in a Welsh mining town, you know, I mean. And then all of a sudden there's Eddie Cochran and Gene Vincent and Buddy Holly and all that, you know, and cars and girls and all that whole American thing. It was just magic.
So the Beatles didn't do it for you, even though they were sort of doing the same thing.
Right,
They were
yeah.
taking American music.
Yeah, well, we all got our influences from America, really. That's there was nowhere else for it to come from then. That's where the modern music was. That's where rock and roll came from.
And it still has a place in your heart.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the late 60s, your band Love Sculpture. Is that a bigger
dear,
deal?
We have to go back that day.
Is that a bigger deal in retrospect than in reality?
Oh, it was just a little local band, that's all. And we happened to score with a hit record, and then we were caught with our pants down then, so to speak. So no, really, that's a part of my history that I wish wasn't part of my history, if you know what I mean.
Though it was documented, I think
Yes,
there's a Love
I know.
Sculpture song
Don't
on
I know
this
it.
anthology.
Can't get rid of it.
What sort of songs do you play, for example, at the House of Blues tomorrow night? Are you going to go, here's my new album, start to finish, love it or leave it?
No, we mixed it in with some of the old stuff, you know, some of the old favourites sort of thing. A nice balance, yeah.
Well, do you want to do a new one or an old one?
I'll try this instrumental that's on the new album. You do it with the band usually, but we'll try it. It's like being under a microscope here. But it's called The Claw. It's a bit of a handful, so here we go. Something like that. Thank you.
Dave
Fingers
Edmonds.
are smoking. Fingers are smoking.
Ah, yes.
He writes songs, he sometimes sings them, plays guitar. Sometimes
Yeah.
you don't even have to sing. You just exist. And the other thing you do is you produce records.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people you've worked with?
Oh, the Everly Brothers, the Stray Cats, Fabulous Thunderbirds, K.D. Lang, people like that.
Now, that must have been a thrill to work with the Everly Brothers.
Oh, yeah. I did their two sort of comeback albums, you know, in the 80s when they got back together. Yeah, that was a trip. That was great.
What's it like to be in control, in general, of somebody else's sound and career, and everything hangs on how you decide it's going to sound, but these are your
Well,
heroes.
the way you put it is terrifying. I never thought of it like that. It's just come second nature at the time, but you're right. God, that's quite a responsibility.
I mean,
I just look at it as fun, really.
Is there a point somewhere in there where you're thinking, maybe they wouldn't like it this way? I don't want to mess with...
You wouldn't make a record producer, I don't think. Yeah, well, if you start thinking like that, you just become an engineer.
you just sort of paint by numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what record producing is. I think it's all down to making records, really, and whatever it takes, you know. So it's not a well-defined role, record producing.
Well, it must be a bit weird as well to be in complete control of your own project, not just producing yourself, but tell us about the new album Plugged In, because I don't think there were a lot of other people involved on this.
There's no one else involved in it. I did it all myself in my studio at home, which is something I've always wanted to do. I have done it before with the odd track here and there, recorded all the instruments myself, but I've never done the whole album, which was something I wanted to do. So that's what I did.
Is there a danger of losing perspective?
There's lots of dangers of going completely out of your mind, but I think I found my way around it. A few little tricks, just to make it a bit easier. But yeah, it's quite a daunting project, to take. After you've done one or two songs, you think, yeah, that's great, but I got another 9 to do or something, and but you get there eventually.
I guess it's a little bit like working at home, out of your home, instead of going into the office every day. Who's there to give you feedback and distract you? And
well, there's lots of distractions, yeah, and then you wonder, how do I get anything done at home, But yeah, that takes some discipline. There is a sort of code of discipline needed for that.
Well, the new album is called Plugged In, and you did this at home, like you said, here in L.A., right?
Yeah.
And it is on I lost it, Pyramid record label.
That's it.
Available in stores.
Yeah.
You want to do another one for us, Dave Edmonds?
Crossroads, how about that?
Well, I'm standing at the crossroads again, with an empty heart and $1.10. Maybe I run into some famous names, Robert Johnson or Elmore James, standing at the crossroads again. Well, I woke up this morning like I usually do. My baby wasn't nowhere around. I looked in the kitchen and I looked in the hall, in my slippers and my dressing gown. There were lipstick traces on the bedroom door. Goodbye, she wrote, I don't want you no more. I guess I'm not the man she was looking for. I'm just a man she found, and I'm standing at the crossroads again, with an empty heart and $1.10. Maybe I run into some famous names, Robert Johnson or Elmore James, standing at the crossroads again. Well, here I am on my own again. Now where did I go wrong this time? I treat 'em good like a gentleman should, and I never ever step out of line. Well, I'm no kid, I know my way around. 6'2", I weigh 300 pounds, but I can't hold no romance down. Maybe I should give up trying, and I'm standing at the crossroads again, with an empty heart and $1.10. Maybe I run into some famous names, Robert Johnson, Elmore James, standing at the crossroads again. Yes, I'm standing at the crossroads again. Woo! Yes, I'm standing at the crossroads again.
Dave Edmonds with us. A lot of blues references in that song.
Yeah.
Blues something that comes naturally to you?
What?
The blues.
Yeah. It's not my first love. It's not what got me into music. I think just rock and roll did that. But I like the different aspects of how rock and roll came, blues and hillbilly, bluegrass, country music and all that. Yeah, I like all that stuff.
And a lot of the other artists that you've covered, Springsteen, John Fogerty, NRBQ, they all seem to come from the same roots that you come from.
Yes, we're all tarred with that brush.
Yeah, though you may be geographically miles apart from each other, you all.
We're there in spirit, yes.
House of Blues is where you'll be. We thank again our guest Dave Edmonds and Bobby Bandiera.
Thank you.
Our guest in the FM 101.9 Music Hall. We'll see you on stage at the House of Blues tomorrow night.
Great.
Great.